suit on. You can't turn your back on this thing. It'll wreck you.
I'm not equipped to do this job. What do I know about being a hero?
Why did these shows vanish almost as soon as they appeared? Let's dig up the stories behind the weirdest, wildest, and most ambitious superhero flops of 1983. What if your favorite superhero could turn into a panther, but only after a 2-minute transformation sequence? Manimal, 1983. If you ever sat cross-legged in front of a TV waiting for the transformation scene, you know Manimal was trying to be the next big thing. The sound of bones cracking, fur sprouting, and that slow, dramatic morph. Those moments stuck with you, even if the show didn't. NBC's Manimal was supposed to be the next Knight Rider. Dr. Jonathan Chase, a wealthy professor with a secret. He could transform into any animal to fight crime. One week he's a panther, the next a hawk, always prowling alleys or diving into danger. The show took itself seriously, sometimes a little too seriously, treating Chase like a superhero detective in a world that never quite believed in him. Created by Glenn A. Larson, the mind behind Knight Rider and Battlestar Galactica, Manimal's big selling point was its transformation effects, designed by the legendary Stan Winston. The morphing sequences were impressive for the time, but they were expensive and ate up precious screen minutes. The tone wobbled between dead serious and accidentally campy, and NBC threw it into a brutal Friday night slot, up against Dallas, the #1 show in America. Most fans never knew. Manimal's transformation effects were so expensive, NBC had to ration them. After just 8 episodes, Manimal was canceled. Most viewers never even met Dr. Chase. Today, Manimal lives on as a cult punchline, a show with movie-level makeup, a bonkers premise, and the confidence of a hit that never actually happened. If you remember the Panther transformation, you're part of a very exclusive club. What if your computer could literally spit out a superhero, and the network burned $1 million an episode to make it happen?
Cursor?
Automan, 1983 to 84. You remember Cursor, the neon car, the way Automan could take a 90-degree turn without slowing down. But behind the glow, ABC was burning through cash faster than Cursor could draw a Lamborghini. Automan was ABC's answer to Tron and the high-tech fantasy boom. Walter Nebuchar, a mild-mannered cop, programs his dream crime fighter, a glowing hologram named Automan who can step out of the screen, summon a neon sports car, and bend physics like a walking cheat code. Most fans never knew. Automan's glowing effects weren't CGI. They were painstakingly animated, frame by frame, at a cost that made every episode a gamble. The reflective suit needed special lighting and post-production, and the Cursor sidekick could draw anything into existence. Each episode reportedly cost over $1 million. Huge money for the time. But ratings stayed strictly average, and critics rolled their eyes at the corny computer jokes and the show's sometimes wooden acting. Only 13 episodes were produced, and just 12 even aired in the US before ABC pulled the plug. Automan is now remembered as the ultimate early 80s tech superhero flop, a show with wild ideas, a dazzling costume, and a network that burned a pile of cash trying to turn basic code into a primetime Avenger. If you ever wanted to see a superhero take a 90-degree turn at 200 miles an hour, this was your show. What if the most relatable superhero on TV lost his powers? Not to a villain, but to network meddling and real-world headlines. The Greatest American Hero, 1981. If you ever tried to fly by jumping off the couch, you know Ralph Hinckley was the hero every kid could believe in. But when the network started shuffling time slots, even the suit couldn't save him. But behind the scenes, the show was fighting battles you never saw. Network politics, real-world headlines, and a name that suddenly became too controversial to say out loud. Ralph Hinckley wasn't your typical TV superhero. He was a high school teacher who got an alien supersuit, lost the instruction manual, and spent 3 seasons crashing into walls more than he saved the day. That mix of slapstick, sincerity, and a now iconic theme song, believe it or not, made The Greatest American Hero a surprise hit in 1981. But behind the scenes, the show was under constant pressure. DC and Warner Brothers complained about its Superman-like setup. The character's surname, Hinckley, suddenly echoed the real-life Reagan would-be assassin and had to be awkwardly overdubbed. ABC kept shuffling time slots and preempting episodes, making it hard for fans to keep up. Most fans never knew. The show's hero had to change his last name after the Reagan assassination attempt, and ABC kept shuffling time slots until even diehards couldn't keep up. By early 1983, ratings had crashed, creative confidence was shaken, and the cape quietly disappeared from the schedule. The show didn't flop because it was bad. It got tripped and tackled by real-world drama and network indecision. Fans still hummed the theme and remember Ralph's clumsy flights, but 1983 is the year his suit finally got folded and put away. What if TV's next superhero was an ancient alien guru, and nobody knew what to do with him?
The Phoenix. For 1,000 years, he has waited, suspended.
The Phoenix, 1982. If you remember Bennu's glowing amulet and cryptic speeches, you're one of the few. The Phoenix was the kind of show you caught by accident, maybe late at night, and wondered if you'd dreamed it. Too weird for prime time, too tame for cult status. A hero lost between worlds. The Phoenix tried to give TV a different kind of hero. Bennu, an ancient alien found in a Peruvian tomb, reborn with mystical powers and a cosmic mission to guide humanity. He could levitate, sense danger, and tap into strange energies. Half-spiritual guru, half-caped wanderer, minus the cape. ABC pitched it as a serious, thoughtful genre show, but the execution felt vague. Viewers got cryptic monologues, desert wanderings, and occasional bursts of psychic action, all while other networks were serving up simpler, punchier fare. After a TV movie pilot and only 5 regular episodes, ratings stayed low and The Phoenix vanished from the schedule by 1983. What the network never told you. The Phoenix was pitched as TV's next big hero, but its mystical, slow-burn style left mainstream audiences cold. Too weird for prime time, too tame for cult status. A hero lost between worlds. What if a whole season of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman was made, then buried before anyone could see it?
Oh no, he's back! Look out for those killer eyes!
Yep, they're killers.
Super Friends, the Lost 1983 season. Imagine being a kid in 1983, waiting for new Super Friends episodes only to get reruns while 24 brand new adventures sat on a shelf. For years, fans thought they'd imagined it. The lost episodes became a legend, proof that even the world's greatest heroes can get buried by network indecision. By 1983, Super Friends had already put Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman into the same cartoon for nearly a decade. That year, Hanna-Barbera produced a full batch of new episodes, 24 in all, with ABC's approval and money. And then, ABC refused to air them in the United States. Most fans never knew. In 1983, a full season of Super Friends was made, but never aired in the US. The lost episodes did run overseas in places like Australia and eventually surfaced in US syndication years later. But in 1983 itself, American kids were stuck with reruns while a whole season of brand new heroics sat on a shelf, victims of changing tastes and network uncertainty about superhero cartoons. In your superhero graveyard, this is the team that got buried alive. The heroes were still out there, fully animated and ready to go, but for the home audience that loved them most, 1983 felt like the year the Super Friends simply stopped answering the call. What if TV tried to make a live-action fantasy comic book before anyone knew how to sell it? Wizards and Warriors, 1983. If you remember Prince Eric's sword fights and Dirk Blackpool's over-the-top villainy, you know this was proto-Xena before anyone knew what that meant. The sets were lavish, the costumes wild, and the tone was pure comic book, years before TV knew how to sell that. Wizards and Warriors didn't have capes, but it absolutely had a superhero, Prince Eric Greystone, a swashbuckling knight in shining armor, locked in an ongoing battle with campy villain Prince Dirk Blackpool in a world of wizards, witches, and magical gadgets. It was basically a live-action fantasy comic book, years before TV knew how to sell that. CBS reportedly spent around $8 million on 8 episodes, lavish sets, costumes, and effects for a mid-season replacement, then dumped it on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. against family comedies that already dominated the ratings. It quickly became one of the lowest-rated shows on the network, and despite a small fan base and Bill Bixby directing episodes, it was canceled after those first 8. Most fans never knew. CBS spent millions on lavish sets and costumes, only to dump the show on Saturday nights and walk away after 8 episodes. It was proto-Xena before anyone knew what that meant. Today, it's remembered as a charming misfire, a proto-Xena/Hercules with jokey dialogue, theatrical villains, and a hero who arrived a decade too early. In 1983, the fantasy knight with all the makings of a cult icon ended up as just another noble ghost in the superhero graveyard.
Hey, you want to laugh? Call me at 1-940-SMITH and I'll tell you about my terrific new show, Mr. Smith. Cut. Is that sincere enough for you?
Mr. Smith, 1983. If you ever saw a monkey outsmarting politicians on TV, you weren't dreaming. Mr. Smith is proof that in 1983, network execs were desperate enough to try anything. It's the kind of show you mention at a party and everyone laughs, until someone else remembers it too. In a move only 1983 television could love, NBC decided its next super protagonist would be a capuchin monkey. Mr. Smith is a lab animal whose IQ shoots to 256 after a freak accident, turning him into a suit-wearing political consultant and TV commentator who outsmarts the humans around him. The network sold it as high-concept comedy. What if the smartest guy in Washington was literally a small primate? But the show leaned heavily on the animal gimmick and voiceover, with thin jokes and no clear target audience. Too absurd for serious satire, too talky for kids, Mr. Smith launched in fall 1983 and bled viewers fast. It was canceled during its first season and left almost no cultural footprint beyond "Remember the Monkey Show?" What the network never told you. NBC bet on a genius monkey to save their ratings. The result? A show so strange, most viewers still wonder if they dreamed it. Every one of these shows changed what superheroes could be. If you remember these shows, you remember a time when TV could still surprise you. Which one do you remember best? Which one deserves a comeback? Drop your favorite in the comments, like the video, and subscribe for more nostalgia deep dives.